Half of my body was brutally amputated by a forklift. If you are sensitive, I advise you not to watch this video. My name is Lauren Showers, and with deep sincerity, I want to share with all of you the intense pain and ongoing struggle I've been fighting since that fateful day when I was cruelly split in half in a terrible accident. My journey is a tragedy unfolding before everyone's eyes, but it is also a story of courage, determination, and an unwavering love of life. In 2019, my existence fell apart when a terrible forklift accident forced me to undergo a hemicorporectomy. Half of my body was removed to keep me breathing, but at what cost? The physical and emotional pain I have endured since then is simply indescribable. Each day presents itself as an almost unbearable burden, a battle against the darkness that threatens to consume me. With my wife by my side, her becoming my anchor in this ocean of grief, and the incredible support of my social media followers, I've been desperately trying to make sense of it all. However, lately I feel that life is slipping through my fingers, like water that I can no longer feel in my absent legs. I recently shared with you my rehospitalization due to an infection, but the truth is that I'm weaker every day. My body is giving up, and hope seems a thin thread. The pain is constant, the fatigue is overwhelming, and the will to keep going is fading. If you want part 2, leave a comment below.
I've had so many comments asking me to cover this case, and I can't put it off any longer. This is the horrific case of Lacey Fletcher, and it's up there with one of the most horrific cases of neglect that I've ever come across. Just a quick trigger warning, there is a picture of the couch mentioned in this comment, and it's not a pretty sight. So if you are squeamish, I suggest you just scroll on by. Lacey lived with her parents Clay and Sheila in a town called Slaughter in Louisiana. She first started showing signs of Asperger's at a very young age, and when she was in 9th grade, her parents pulled her out of school. Lacey didn't have a primary doctor, but Clay and Sheila did attend a doctor's appointment where they expressed their concerns about Lacey. They told the doctor that she was becoming more and more reclusive and refused to leave the house. What's strange is they didn't ask the doctor to come to the house to speak to Lacey, and they made no attempt to get Lacey to come to the doctor's appointment with them. Over the years, many medical professionals urged Clay and Sheila to take Lacey to hospital for treatment, but it never happened, and she never received any medical treatment. Lacey was forced to live in that house with her parents for years and years, and then finally, in January 2022, when Lacey was 36, Sheila rang 911 and told them that her daughter had stopped breathing. Paramedics and law enforcement were not prepared for what they found when they entered that house. Just a quick trigger warning again here, the picture is coming up. Lacey's body was discovered partially naked, sitting upright in this sunken crevice on the living room couch. She was covered in urine and had feces on her face, chest and abdomen. She was also covered in maggots and insect bites. She was extremely malnourished, weighing just 96 pounds, and she had severe sores and ulcers on her body, some of which went down to the bone. She also tested positive for COVID-19. It was clear to the authorities straight away that this was a severe case of neglect. Despite the fact that Lacey was 36, she was also a really vulnerable woman. As well as Asperger's, she had severe social anxiety, and it was also discovered that she'd been suffering from locked-in syndrome, which can cause paralysis of the muscles and joints. It's thought that Lacey hadn't left this couch for at least 10 years. Clay and Sheila had made absolutely no attempts to get help for their daughter over the years, and when they were questioned by police, they told them that it was Lacey's choice to live on that couch and that there was nothing that they could have done. Clay and Sheila were arrested and they were charged with second-degree murder. However, in June this year, the judge tossed out those charges and they've been re-indicted on first-degree murder charges. Their trial is set to begin later this year.
A crazed intruder yanks on the door and pounds the window of a total stranger's house. It's past midnight. Christine Paul was home alone and understandably terrified.
Of course, I'm not going to let a crazy person in my house. I don't know what's going on.
You can see the intruder backing up and throwing the full force of her body into the window. It breaks. Then she pulls out the screen and reaches in. The homeowner screams.
What is going on? What is going on? I will shoot. I have a gun. Why?
Christine is a retired police officer in Fresno, California. She retrieved her 9mm pistol and called 911.
What are you doing?
Christine says when the woman reached into her window, it felt like a scene right out of The Walking Dead.
When the zombies are coming in and you see them reaching through the windows and stuff, that's what it felt like.
She was only seconds away from pulling the trigger when police got there.
It was a very scary situation because I'm having to think of somebody else's life in this situation in order to protect my own.
The police calmed down the intruder, who was clearly confused.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you live here?
No, I don't.
So why are you banging on the door?
Because my friend was there.
Police arrested Hannah Nakagawa, and you'll never guess who she turned out to be, a first-grade teacher. Here's where the story takes an even stranger turn. The next day, a police chaplain paid Christine a visit. She says it wasn't to comfort her, but to introduce himself as the intruder's dad.
Saying, I'm the father of, and as soon as he got that out, I screamed no. I slammed the door, saying, you shouldn't be here.
I spoke to Lieutenant Mark Hudson, who says police have launched an internal investigation.
The fact that the chaplain even went there, doesn't that seem inappropriate?
We'll determine, the appropriateness of it and make a determination internally if some disciplinary action comes from it.
The intruder was cited for a misdemeanor vandalism charge, but authorities say they are considering charging her with attempted burglary and being under the influence of alcohol.
A night of drinking resulted in some felony charges for two men in Arkansas. Hey, they decided to test out a bulletproof vest by shooting each other. It happened in a town called Rogers. According to court documents, Christopher Hicks first shot Charles Ferris. Then Ferris got mad because it hurt.
Why?
It hurt. So he shot Hicks several times in the back, and those shots left bruises on Hicks.
Jeez.
Both men are now charged with aggravated assault and have been ordered to stay away from
Well, that's probably a good idea, right? You two don't need to be together anymore.
Nope, nothing good comes of that partnership. So just
Ferris?
stay in your own places, men. Goodness. But I think they'll be okay.
On May 5th, 2023, police were called to a house in Florida to conduct a standard welfare check on a woman named Lainey. The cops that arrived that evening had no idea that they would make a discovery that would scar them for life. After arriving on the scene, police knocked on the door.
Did it smell when you went to the door? It smelled. Yeah, there's a door on the opposite side. Did you see somebody? The other side reeks bad. Hello? Sheriff's office. Anybody in there? The other door smells like a 7.
Things are deathly quiet around the compound, but this cop also thinks there's death in the air here too. Florida cops have their own set of radio codes. 1 is a drunk driver, 28 is a riot, and 7 is a dead person. A 7 is a pretty unmistakable smell, so the cops decide to investigate further.
This place is a disaster. Can you smell it?
No, I do.
Nose come out of
How you doing? Hey, doing good. How are you? All right, brother.
Have you seen Lainey recently?
The girl?
Yeah, next door neighbor.
Just the guys over there.
When's the last time you seen them?
Him, he usually walks up and down the road, but her, I haven't seen her in a while.
How long would a while be? Days, months?
Day or two.
Couple days.
Have you heard any fighting, anything in the last 2 days? Any
The
loud
last time you
commotion?
seen her? I know it would be not abnormal for you to hear yelling and screaming coming from over there. So.
Nothing.
Lainey's neighbors tell the cops they haven't seen or heard anything from her in a few days. You might think it's a good thing that they haven't heard any yelling or fighting, but in this family, that was completely normal. And the lack of shouting, coupled with the somewhat ominous presence of her son, is extremely concerning for the cops.
Just call the number right there. That's the non-emergency number. If you see Lainey or any of
her sister's looking for her and she's not able to get a hold of her, so that's why we're out trying to make contact with her. I can't hear nothing, but I can smell that smoke. It ain't supposed to be pushed. It wouldn't take much, that would. I mean, I can make an open door. There's a door on each side of the house, and everything's like propped up with something. It's like ready to fall down. Oh, the bench.
Nothing.
After spending almost half an hour searching outside the property, the cops were left with just one option. But before they were about to start breaking in, this happened.
Oh, did you hear us knocking before? Or were you knocked out?
No, I was sleeping in there.
I'm glad you woke up because you're about to come inside. We're looking for Mom. Have you seen her?
She's not around right now.
Do you know where she's at? Sister's asking for her. She's not in any trouble or anything like that.
When was the last time you saw her?
A few days ago.
Where'd she go?
She just went to the store. Said she'd be back in a little while.
It doesn't take a genius to realize something's off here. This guy managed to sleep through half an hour of the cops searching his house at 5 p.m., and when they questioned him, he didn't know anything at all. All he did was sit on the steps, looking exceptionally suspicious.
Is it normal for Mom to be gone for days at a time?
Sometimes.
Where does she usually go? Does she have a favorite place where she likes to go when she's not home?
Not that I know of.
Did she tell you anything out of the normal when last time you saw her?
No.
Do you know who stays in the tent?
Well, that's where I was staying before she told me I'm coming around.
Oh, she told you could come before she left?
Yeah.
Would it be alright if they just went inside to make sure she's not in there?
It's not my house.
Huh?
I can't tell you no.
Okay.
But you stay here and it's your mom's house?
Retaliate for getting arrested or something like that. You can lead the way if you so please.
I'm not trying to lock the door.
You could go in, but you could go in. Just lead us through.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have a key?
wow.
Why would you lock the door behind you?
No. I just usually do that.
So how do you get in?
I don't know.
How about this other little door that's over here?
It's just barricaded up.
With what?
Garbage can and some stuff.
So how do you get in the house when you lock the door? Because I feel like you're f***ing with me. What the hell? What's the deal?
You understand how this looks, right?
Yes, sir.
Conveniently, the man claims the door locked behind him and he didn't bring a key with him. Usually he'll just wait for his mom to come back and open it for him, but she's obviously not home right now, or at least that's what the cops think.
So, obviously you went in and unlocked it from the inside. Did you get in? Did you just push that one thing open to get in from the other door?
You mind doing that for us right now?
Jessica was saying that her boyfriend had tied her up and did things to her. Played at grade 3510 Washington Road. Was on the way down.
I think if you shimmy it into the right, we could be able to just pull it out. So push it into the right. Keep pushing it in. Now try to move it out. And then push it out. There you go. There we go. So are you sure Mom's not in there?
I don't know. I just stayed in my room, stayed in my living room.
We're already in, so we're gonna find out. So.
Is your You're gonna tell me you didn't know Mom was in there?
No.
Jennifer, get in there, guys. And now I got a whole bigger issue. Call 400 and have them come out here.
Inside the house lay the dead body of his mother, Lainey. The cops spend no time putting him in cuffs and radioing in for backup, but this is when things start to get weird. In an impromptu interrogation, the man suddenly becomes more talkative and starts to tell the cops everything he knows.
When we first got here and talked to you, you said you hadn't seen Mom in how long?
A few days.
A few days. Is that the actual answer, or what is the answer you want to swear to? The last time you saw Mom?
We were talking around the house here. I mean, you know, I seen her riding a bike, and she gave me a few cigarettes and stuff and told me to stop back by the house later. She told me I could stay inside, and that was a few days ago.
But you said that wasn't the truth, that you weren't supposed to be staying inside.
No.
Yes, when we talked to you over there, I said you're not supposed to be here. That's so.
No contact order.
Okay.
I believe.
Do you know if it's still active or no?
No, sir.
What is there no contact order between you and Mom for?
We got into a dispute. She said I slapped her, I punched her.
So battery?
Yes, sir.
Okay, domestic stuff.
Yes, sir.
How did your conversation with Dad go the last time you saw him?
Bad.
Bad?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad?
How about between Mom and Dad? Did they talk?
The only thing I knew is she told, at that point in time when she got home, she told me and him both to leave, so I left and went walking somewhere and stayed away.
Did you notice anything different while you've been staying here?
70070 Equal Boulevard, 70070 Equal Boulevard, Officer Millican, make contact with complaint reference.
Did that not raise any alarm to you?
Not heard from her in a couple months.
Little.
Did you go and check?
I did kind of look in there. Let's see, I guess I should have, I don't have a cell phone or anything, I should probably say something.
So you saw her in the position that she's currently in now?
Yes, sir.
So why did you tell us that Mom wasn't there? When you went in there and checked on her 2 days ago, did you know that she was deceased?
I couldn't say so. I wouldn't say no.
Okay. But was it apparently obvious to you that
Yes, sir.
somebody smelling like that wouldn't be somebody
sir.
who wouldn't? Okay. So why didn't you call law enforcement when you found her deceased? You don't know?
I don't know.
The man is obviously still confused and has likely been in some form of shock for the past couple days, but nevertheless, he still failed to report his mother's death and as such has been charged with failure to report death. As for who killed Lainey though, that's a much tougher question. The current top suspects are of course this man and his father, but as of this video's upload, the investigation is still ongoing. If you enjoy true crime videos like this, make sure you're subscribed to see more.
This is crazy. So her court hearing just ended and it will only lasted 30 minutes, but let me tell you what she said. So they said at times she broke down and she even made shocking claims that one of her minor children SA'd their siblings and SA'd several other family members and children in the neighborhood over the years. Yes, her ex-husband was there with his attorney, and at the other table were the state attorneys and what appeared to be Frankie's 2 older daughters, also accompanied by their attorneys as well. So when this entire court hearing was supposed to be about her, she turned it to blaming her children, pinning the blame for her behavior on her children. She went into horrific detail about how one of her 6 kids abused other children. She also claimed that one of Frankie's kids began looking at P-word I can't say at just 3 years old. And in one of the most shocking claims, she said that her child has been SAing a younger sibling for years, adding that eventually 2 of them began to abuse other children. She also claimed that her children played a patting game with each other and did not go into further detail. This is crazy that she decides to let me just make these allegations, these crazy allegations, blaming my children for how I'm acting. She said that in May, her child confessed to SAing 20 people, including cousins and neighbors. She provided no proof of these sickening allegations. Go figures. The courtroom went eerily silent as she made these disturbing claims, because I'm pretty sure everybody was in shock that she decided to turn this on her children. And then the judge said that her alleged abused children will then need to be placed in a home with no other children. She's delusional. She's psychotic. And if your children are acting out like that, like you say they are, then you must be doing something wrong as a parent. Because children at 3 years old just don't, look at P word. But anyways, that's what happened in the court hearing today with her. She decided to change it up and blame her children for how she was acting. Other than that, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments and I will keep you guys updated.
The real reason why Jodi has said that her children have done SA on each other, especially the young male, we're going to expose it, and it's deeper and darker than what most people think. Guys, make sure and click the plus sign. I'm going to keep you up to date with all this. Sound off in the comments. Tell me what you think. But if you've been following the story, you know that yesterday Ruby had court hearing, and the day before that, she had a hearing for shelter for the children, where they were going to go in custody. And disturbingly, she turned it all around the kids, and she said that her youngest, Russell, was doing SA to himself, to other people, to family members, to siblings, and to the neighborhood, up to 20 people, and that he's had issues with looking at intimacy photos, please infer, since the age of 3. Me and many other people have come back saying that sounds like absolute horse crap, and it absolutely does. But there is a theory that I am very concerned with that I want to explain as to why she would have brought this up. So the first thing is, we know from Jodi's niece that apparently Jodi loves to say that everybody is addicted to intimacy issues, please infer. And as a result of being addicted to intimacy issues, she loves to put that on children, because apparently Jodi did the same thing to Jesse, even though Jesse didn't have those issues. And yet Jodi would hammer her and say, you need to admit to these things, otherwise the abuse will continue. So what Jesse decided to do in that was to run away and get out of there, and she's speaking about it. This is what I think happened. I sincerely doubt her claims about what's going on with her children. What I think this probably is this, and this is why it gets dark. So we know that the police picked up these children. We know the children went to the hospital. We know that they found all kinds of issues surrounding abuse, the lacerations, the malnutrition. Here's what I think. We know that when she found out, she was on the run. She started to run, wouldn't speak to police, wanted to lawyer up immediately. First of all, if your children were taken into custody because they are having issues where somebody's abused them, that just shows a huge level of narcissism, that she wasn't concerned for her kids or wanting to see her kids. She was concerned about protecting herself. That's the first tell. Here's the second. I'm wondering if there's more that's unreleased to the public that we don't know about what they found on those kids. Meaning, did they find evidence of SA on those kids? Did Ruby know it? Did Jodi know it? And did they have to turn around and concoct this plan so that they didn't get in trouble? Are they really the ones who did the SA? Or, and this is even more disturbing, did they have it inflicted on the child? Considering we know, I think a lot of Jodi's issues, a lot of the issues she says other people have, she really has. And she's constantly putting those issues on other people. My question is, did it go that far? Now, I'm not saying it did, I'm not saying it didn't, but as I've sat with the evidence and analyzed it and weighed it back and forth, it's made me question a lot of things. And if you can watch my videos, a lot of my questioning turns out to be accurate, because I try to, one, use my intuition, and two, I'm old enough, as a lot of you watching, and we've been through all kinds of stuff with people, especially if you've been through abuse, you can tend to spot things. And it's just crazy to me that she went to this extreme. Is she trying to cover up for other crimes? I don't know. Am I off base here? What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments. Click the plus sign. I've got.
So Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt both just had their hearings. They started with Ruby, and she came out looking pretty rough. She was wearing a yellow striped jumpsuit, I believe because she came from medical. The judge ordered that she be held without bail and continue to stay in jail until September 21st, which is when the next hearing is. Jodi Hildebrandt came out next. She was wearing more of a pinkish striped jumpsuit, and they said that she's also being held without bail, but her lawyer is trying to get the hearing expedited so she can get out of jail sooner. I think they're right where they belong, and I'm happy that they're not being let out.
'Cause I keep doing things in the wrong way, get stuck at the bottom. It's gotta be a better way. I got no patience to put the pieces back together. Doing all the things that bring me to the edge, and I can't stop. So when I lose myself, won't you hold me down? I got my head in the clouds, running, but I'm out of touch.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off.